What's going on, everybody? It's Cody. Welcome back to the channel. We got a pretty good, solid, big 4-game slate here on Sunday. Spread out too. We got a couple early afternoon games and then a couple later games. 10K to first. Let's look at my lineups from today. Obviously, last night ended up working out really well. I mentioned in the stream Big T in that little range of Big T, Cardosa, and Talbot, that if you could stomach Big T and just be okay with burning your money if she just doesn't want to play basketball, you should probably play her. She was the best play in that range at sub 8K, but I did not play her. I ended up playing Talbot. Turns out it was the 1v1 swap that took first. They played Big T. I played Talbot. Still finished, I think, like tied for 22nd in the big contest, so no complaints. And one of the subscribers was one of them that split first, so love to see that. My lineup for today, I ran two. One, I did a fever stack of Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. That looks amazing right now. I mean, Caitlin Clark went nuts. 61 points. They actually pulled the upset as well. Boston had a good game. Actually outscored everyone else. These were the top two scorers. And then my other lineup, I ended up playing Boston and Sabrina. I really just mentioned how high I was on Minnesota. McBride, Alana, Dorka here. Obviously can pivot to Zandalasini over Dorka if she starts. And then Aaliyah Edwards. We got news that Emily Inksler's out, so wanted to play Edwards there. And then in this lineup, it looks really, really good right now. Obviously got Dorka and Alana. I love both of them. Misha Hines-Allen and Courtney Williams. So we'll see how it ends up. This lineup has a really good chance, especially if for some reason Dolson is out and they only have Misha Hines-Allen and Edwards. I would probably even make more pivots to try and get Misha Hines-Allen and Edwards if that was the case. But let's look at these odds for these 4 games. Then we'll do a quick look at Underdog. I don't have any rankings out yet, and then we'll break it down team by team. Mystics at the Lynx, that's today. Obviously, don't need that one. Wings at the Aces, 15-point spread, over under 174.5. This game fits into what Dallas does. Like, they want to get out and run. The Aces want to play as fast as possible. I love the over-under here at 174.5. Just can Dallas keep it close enough? But this is the Aces' 4th game this week. They just played a back-to-back and overtime. Their legs could be jello, but that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. And the only other game for tomorrow that they have up right now is the Sky and Storm. 8.5-point spread over under 164.5. Sky just took down Seattle in Seattle. 8.5 seems a bit wide because Chicago's been playing good basketball of late. Let's look and see if I can pull up the other two. We got the Dream at the Sun. There is some injury news we're about to talk about. 11.5-point spread over under 151.5. And then the Mercury and the Spark. Phoenix is a 6.5-point favorite over under 168.5. And we just got news on Phoenix that we'll have to talk about. But Underdog, they're doing a early slate for the first 2 games and then a main slate for the last 2 games. Love an Underdog. Having an absolute blast with them. Like I always say, I don't have my rankings out right now, but I will have them out a little bit later on tonight and get them posted in the Discord for anybody that wants to use them. And I'm going to be doing a Underdog early bird live stream in the morning, just talking about both slates, maybe doing a couple drafts for anybody that wants to hop in. But check that out, and let's get into what everyone's here for. First game of the day, Atlanta at Connecticut. On the Atlanta side, man, there's a lot of news. Powers is still out. Canada's out. Ryan Howard's still out. And now Cheyenne Parker is questionable with a foot injury. We'll see if she plays. If she does not, I mean, Tina Charles is just going to have to play just a ton of minutes. Had her worst game in a while. Only saw 31 minutes. Would imagine she would have to tick up to like 33, 34 if Parker's out. Alicia Gray went all the way up to 9,300. Had a great game. 15 peripheral stats. 19 real-life points. 40 bomb. Would like her quite a bit if Cheyenne Parker is out. There's just I mean, she's just going to have to be a usage monster. If she's going to get that kind of peripherals, I love the upside that she brings. The matchup is not the best, though. That's the only downside. Haley Jones, 6,600, is fine. She's going to play big minutes. Should expect low to mid 30s minutes for her. Not the best offensive player. I mean, I'm not expecting her to shoot 7 of 9 again, but perfectly fine play in the mid-range. Nia Coffey, 5,800. Minutes ticked down a bit. She had a decent game. You're really just looking for her to get you like 15 fantasy points. The price is pretty up there, though. Maya Caldwell all the way up to 5,600. Played 32 minutes. I have interest in Maya Caldwell just because they're so short-handed. She's going to have to play a pretty good amount. Naz Hillman would have interest in her, even though she only played 13 minutes against Dallas. With no Cheyenne Parker, would expect her to have to see some additional run. Would mean someone like a Kabaj or an Ami here, who they just have not given any minutes to, would have to be dusted off. Destiny Henderson, 3,600, played 7 minutes. I mean, they're going to have to dust off some of these players. I mean, Powers is already out, Canada's out, Howard's out. If Parker Tice is out, I mean, there's a bunch of minutes that's going to need to be divvied out. Would have a lot of interest even in a tough matchup. On the Connecticut side, obviously AT at the top, 11-3. One of the best matchups in the Wnba against Atlanta. They just don't play any defense. Triple-double upside. She just got one last game. Back to her 53, or back to her 50 burgers. DeWanna Bonner, 9K, obviously shot the ball great last game. Put up almost 40 fantasy points. That's where her upside lies. I like her for tournaments. I like Dejanay Carrington for tournaments. 8,600 is a fine price. She can get you some peripheral stats, and if she scores well, she's going to have a good fantasy game. Bree Jones, 8,300. The matchup is great. Assuming she's going to play high 20s minutes, she looks pretty solid. Has not been great of late, but has some upside. Ty Harris, we'll see. She missed Thursday's game with the illness. We'll see if she's back for this one. If not, we're going to talk about Veronica Burton right now, all the way up to $6,400. If Ty Harris is back, I'm not paying this price tag for Burton. If Harris is out, I think you could still play Burton at this price tag. It's just getting a little up there where it's almost not worth it. Banham and Mitchell would only be in play if Harris is out. Olivia Nelson-Dota is just not someone I'm interested in playing. Same with Nadir Fall. Second game of the day, Dallas at the Aces. On the Dallas side, Arike, 11K. She's going to play practically the entire game. We all know this already. She's got some solid peripheral floor, and then she has a huge scoring ceiling. Aces want to play as fast as possible. It's a great matchup for her. I love the ceiling that she has. Nat Howard, back down to 24 minutes against Atlanta. It just, you never know what to expect with her. If she comes out and plays well and the game is competitive, they typically lean on her. But like against Atlanta, that was a close game and she only played 24 minutes. It's so infuriating trying to predict how many minutes she's going to play because she's such a good fantasy point per minute player. You just never know what to expect. Big T, back up to 8,400. This is about the minutes range that I would expect her to play when she wants to play and wants to be out there, 24 to 28. It's a good matchup for her. Don't mind her right there. You just have to know she can absolutely kill you. I just have to live with that. Odyssey Sims all the way up to $8,100. Practically has played the entire game the past 2 times out. Obviously not expecting 6 stocks again. The price tag is getting up there, but I still think minutes alone you can consider her. Billing, 6,100. Minutes are just up and down and everywhere. Not someone I'm really considering. 6,100 is an okay price tag, but I just don't think she can pay that price off. JC Sheldon, 5,400, played huge minutes and shot the ball really well. Had a 30-point fantasy day after pretty rough days the last 4. Don't mind her just on minutes alone as a cheaper option. Uzan, barely played whatsoever. Really hard to trust her. She's completely fallen out of grace since she's fell out of the starting lineup. Kalani Brown barely played, only saw 10 minutes. Really hard to trust her. Suarez and Lou Lopez, I'm just not playing. On the Aces side, Asia Wilson at the top, sub 13K. Fire her up. Nobody on Dallas can stop her. Dallas can't stop a nosebleed, let alone the best player in the WNBA. If you have the salary, you should play Asia Wilson. Jackie Young, 9,700. Have a lot of interest in her. She's been really solid of late. Doesn't need to score to to hit value, and that's what I love in spin ups. Kelsey Plum has been shooting the ball really well of late, showing back to her normal self, getting back to years prior of her fantasy point per game. I don't mind her at 9,200. The matchup, like I mentioned before, is one of the best in the WNBA. Chelsea Gray hasn't seen very many minutes, even though she did play 29 against the Sparks, only 15.5 fantasy points. She's fine. She shot 1 of 9. She shot abysmally of late besides this one game against Washington. She has some upside, so I think there is some clear interest in tournaments. 7,300 is fairly cheap if she's going to play close to 30 minutes. They've just been really watching her minutes, so I don't know for sure exactly how many I'm expecting her to play. Probably mid-20s. Kia Stokes, 5,900. I think she's fine. This is just the floor. Like she brings is like 7 or 13. She can get you low 20s, and every now and then might get you a 30 bomb. But at 6K, it's really hard to play her just because she has no offensive upside whatsoever. Tiffany Hayes, 5,300. Only saw 10 minutes. Did not play very well. They actually played Kate Martin over her. So that's something to keep an eye on. Really hard to trust either of them right now until one of them separates. Alicia Clark, 5,100. Her minutes are really secure. She's going to play 15 to 20 off the bench. She's not the best fantasy point per minute player, but she can get you some peripheral stats, and when she does, she can pay off her salary. It's just not the sexy play because her ceiling is pretty much non-existent. I'm not playing Gustafson, Colson, or Bell. Just not. Next game, Chicago at Seattle. On the Chicago side, Angel Reese, 10.5K. One of the best plays on the slate. 27 and 10, another double-double. She's just rattling them off like it's nothing. Only saw 31 minutes. I think there's potential that she could play 33 to 35. Put up 48 fantasy points. Love Angel as a spend-up. Kennedy Carter, the price continues to go up, and it's probably still not high enough, in my opinion. As the minutes tick up, if she plays big minutes, I expect her to put up a big fantasy day. She's well north of a fantasy point per minute player. She's super electric with the ball in her hand. Put up 24 shots here against Seattle last time out. I have interest at 9,500. I don't think the price is scaring me away. Marina Mabry all the way down to 8K. The minutes ticked back up, but the shots have been really down as Kennedy Carter has taken over as the number 1 on this offense, and then Angel Reese is the number 2. Marina has plenty of upside for tournaments at 8,000. Just the floor is really, really low, and they've been prone to pull her here lately. So really, really risky tournament play, high risk, high reward. Camila Cardoso, 7,600. Don't mind her. The ceiling really hasn't been there of late, but she shot the ball decent last time out. She's out there mostly to get rebounds, be the big presence down low, get a couple blocks. I would love to see her getting some more scoring opportunities, but I think she's fine at her price point. Lindsey Allen is back to Lindsey Allen of old, 16 and 15 fantasy points. I have no interest at 6,500 on a 4-game slate. I just don't think there's meat on the bone at that price point for her. Dana Evans, 4,700. Minutes ticked all the way back down to 9 minutes. Just super hard to trust. I think there's better plays around her. Izzy Harrison, 4,600. She's going to play low to mid-teens minutes. Pretty good fantasy point per minute player. Don't mind her if you land on her as the last person in. Diamond DeShields played 15 minutes off the bench. She's fine at 4,400 if you're looking for a punt. I'm just never excited to play her because she can have her minutes cut as well. Bree Turner and Oni Inwer, I have no interest in. On the Seattle side, just like the last time out, I have interest in all of their starters. They are once again still priced down. Joel Lloyd is $100 cheaper than what she was. Ezzy ticked up a couple hundred where NECA ticked down. SDS ticked up a couple hundred, and Horston ticked up 100. They just dominate the usage. Even when 1 or 2 head to the bench for a minute, the starters just continue to dominate the usage. Probably my favorite would once again be Ezzy. Not expecting her to get 9 stocks, but just a fantastic defender. I love the upside that she has. She shot 5 of 15, put up 41 fantasy points. She could have easily had over 50 fantasy points. And she did on FanDuel. NECA didn't have the best game. Did play 34 minutes, though, which is great to see from her. only 25 fantasy points, so good bounce back spot for her. Joel Lloyd did not play well, shot pretty bad, but played 37 minutes. If the starters are going to play massive minutes, I love the bounce back spot for all of them. I do have a little bit of interest in Whitcomb. She's probably my favorite off the bench. She's going to play mid-teens minutes and can hit some threes and hit value. Everyone else I really don't have a lot of interest in. Last game of the night, Phoenix at the Sparks. A lot of news just come in on Phoenix. Right as I was starting to record, Brittany Griner is officially questionable. Her wife is about to have her baby, so we'll see. They didn't rule her out yet, so it could be a lot like the last game against Dallas, where it's kind of a wait-and-see approach. But Diana Taurasi has been ruled out, so she will not play. Rebecca Allen is questionable. A lot to digest here. If Brittany Griner and Rebecca Allen miss, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Osborne or Rebecca Allen would have to dress and just not play. So we could have that situation on our hands where they only have 8 available technically, but only 7 are going to play, or even 6 really. So there's a lot to like in this late game. A lot of news will come after lock, so definitely have spots available to make some pivots. Obviously, if BG misses, Natasha Mack would look like one of the best plays on the slate. DT is going to be out, so it's going to be a bump to Sophie, even though she's been pretty bad of late. Bump to Sutton, who's not been great of late. Dixon is gone, so no, they brought her back. Never mind. They cut her and then just brought her back on a 7-day contract. I would really like Kalia Copper and Tosh Cloud. If everyone's out, they would have the offense to themselves. This would be my favorite team to target. It's a fantastic matchup. A lot to like, and you could be rewarded if you leave a lot of spots available for this team with all the news still up in the air. Definitely love to target this team. On the Spark side, Dearica Hamby at the top, 10.8K. Just been back to her normal, just awesome ways. 32, 37 minutes in the last 4. Usage has been incredible again. She's back to getting a ton of rebounds. Getting a lot of peripheral stats, and just scoring at an elite clip. She's the most improved player of the season. Like, by far, running away with that award. What she's done this year has been incredible. Put up 54.5 against the Aces last time out. Obviously, she has a little extra gear when playing the Aces, since they pretty much just salary dumped her to get CP3, which, I mean, I don't really blame them for that, but she does have a little chip when she plays them. Ari McDonald, 8,500, played 40 of a possible 45 minutes. She's playing massive minutes. I do have interest in her. Assuming that continues. Talbot, 8,200, played massive minutes. I have interest in her. She's been really good. The scoring is what's really been impressive to me. She's been getting the peripheral stats. Even at 8,200, I have some interest. Azura Stevens is available to play in this game. I just saw news on that as well, so that could throw a wrinkle into some of these Talbot minutes, some of the Rakia Jackson minutes. She played 41 of a possible 45, so we need to kind of pull back a little bit. I'm not expecting Stevens to come in and play like 25 or 30 minutes, but it does mean that Talbot and Jackson may be a little bit overpriced as they're losing minutes because they're not the best fantasy point per minute players. But I will still have interest in both of them just because I don't expect Stevens to play a ton. Stevens back pretty much kills Uru coming off the bench, even though she's not even been playable of late anyway. Kia Nurse, I never play Kia Nurse. She played 11 minutes, 0 for 3 shooting, got 1 rebound, 1 assist. She's super scoring dependent and plays on a team that has 19 guards and they want to play them all. Ray Burrell got mega extended and she shot 2 of 11. I don't know why she was getting so extended. She was playing decent defense, but 17.5 fantasy points in 32 minutes. I'm not expecting those kind of minutes from her again. Clarendon, just not for me. I just don't get enough minutes, like back-to-back with 9, just not playable. Zia Cook, 3 minutes, just not playable. Dangerfield is on this team now. Like, she hasn't played yet for them, but she could play. They just have so many guards. It's gross. I don't want to play any of them, really. unless you're paying up for Aerie, who's going to play big minutes. Like I'm extremely confident that De'Erica Hamby and Aerie McDonald are going to play huge minutes. Everything else, I'm not. I guess I should say I'm pretty confident that Talbot and Jackson will play quite a bit just because they don't have very many bigs, even with Stevens coming back. So most confident in Hamby and Aries minutes, and then the second tier would be Talbot and Rakia. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Check out the stream tomorrow morning for Underdog, and then I will be live before lock for this slate, and we'll get going on another slate. But good luck to everybody. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Really helps out the channel, and we'll see you for the next one.